You tell Bo, if he wants his town, come see me.
Well, Grandma, what did you think of The Magnificent Seven, which is a remake of the famous Western from years gone by with Yul Brynner?
I remember.
And which was itself a remake of a famous Japanese film called The Seven Samurai, which was even earlier than that, which is basically a story about a poor city out west, which is plagued by a bunch of criminals who are robbing them and killing them and just basically abusing them. And a widow who goes out to try to find basically a bunch of mercenaries to come and fight for them, because they're just a bunch of farmers. So the movie is basically pretty simple. I mean, she goes and they find all the mercenaries, the Magnificent Seven, as they were, and then they get together. They plan their defense of the city, and then they fight the bad guys. And so it's sort of pretty simple. What did you think of it?
I thought it was pretty good. Denzel Washington is his best steely-eyed character. He was really...
He's sort of the first guy
Yes.
and the organizer of the
Yes.
mercenaries, right? He's
kind of the leader of the group.
Right.
They start out with him, Chisholm, and he rounds up the other six. Essentially, he knows who to go, and once he is convinced to take on this mission, he knows who to go and get to join in, and he's successful in rounding up the six plus him, which makes the seven.
Well, some he knows of, but some he sort of stumbles across.
That is true. And he sends, I've forgotten the name of the character, but the Chris Pratt character to round up one that he does know. Anyway, I thought they did a really good job. When you have 7 warriors leading the townsfolk who are farmers, storekeepers, parents. They're not warriors, they're not fighters. And that's the point. They teach them some basic skills, they make some plans that work out well in defending the town, things that they can do. And the town folk rally behind the 7 and do what is required to have a chance. They know that the leader is ruthless, the bad guy leader, and he's going to bring many people, many fighters, all fighters, not homesteaders, not shopkeepers, to tamp down this rebellion here. You can't have the ordinary town folk rebelling. No,
Well,
can't do that.
what was good about it?
What was good?
Yes. What did you like about it?
Well, I thought the movie makers did a really good job with all the mayhem. You can't have an encounter like this without lots of mayhem, bloodshed. They had explosions. They had the Gatling gun at the end of the fighting, and I thought they did a really good job. I was convinced. It was really interesting, the different characters of the Magnificent Seven, and I thought they did a good job of telling us who they were and giving us a little bit of background, for each one. It was kept my interest the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
What'd you think?
Well, I think that it's frankly a pretty sort of, I mean, it is a remake of some pretty famous films. But even if it weren't, the sort of the story that it has, the framework it has, is a pretty familiar sort of style, you might say. Again, they spend about an hour doing the whole, getting the band back together sort of thing. Again, although it's for the first time. I mean, again, it's
Gathering up the seven.
they spend an hour doing that, and then the last hour is them getting ready for the bad guys and getting ready for the big climax. There is actually not that much action. There's a little action along the way here and there as they find the different people and we sort of see their abilities and that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But the majority of the action is all at the end. And so the majority of the film is really the characters, getting to know the characters, and seeing them work together and that sort of thing. So the characters really have to be good. The dialogue has to be good. The situations have to be good. And again, I don't think that they really were in this particular case. Again, with a sort of a framework that's sort of very familiar, I really think they needed to bring some freshness to it. I mean, some snappy dialogue, again, the characters that are interesting. I mean, one of the things that's been made of this film is that it's more multicultural than previous ones, and again, it has an Indian, it has a Hispanic, it has a Asian. And again, it's and again, Denzel Washington again is the leader, but that just casting these different ethnic groups doesn't really do anything unless the characters are interesting. I mean, the characters really they really have to have written some interesting dialogue for them, put them in some interesting situations, and again, that I don't think they did. And again, it comes down to the ending. You sort of know, the mayhem, like you're talking about, what they're going to be faced with. Oh, okay, they're going to be explosions.
So the last 15 minutes was a lot.
Yeah, I mean, you sort of know what to expect already, and even that wasn't very fresh. It wasn't very interesting. Again, it's all leading up to this. It's going to be the climax of the movie. You better make it interesting, and they didn't make it interesting, I don't think. So again, I wouldn't recommend it. Again, this is another one again with Denzel Washington, Chris Pratt. It's got some good actors in it. You would hope it would be better than this, but again, I just can't recommend it. So what's your
since it is a remake, and you can't help but remembering the Yul Brynner.
I don't remember it all that much. I really don't. Again, I've seen it, but not recently. So again, I don't remember it all that much.
So you're not doing comparison.
No, just judging it on what I saw today was not very interesting.
Even though it was like it was the first time you'd seen this story. Well,
you liked it, but how much?
It's not a two thumb. I agree with you about the character development could have been more interesting. But, I think maybe I give it one thumb.
Oh.
Because I did enjoy it. I was engrossed in what was going on. It's definitely not a two thumb, but I wouldn't not recommend it like you are doing.
Okay.
I give it a thumb. Yes.